That'll do, pig. That'll do. That great quote from Charlotte's Web.
I love that
I thought it was
movie.
Babe.
That was the point. That was a test, and you have passed.
Babe Ruth? The baseball player?
Babe.
What?
Yeah. Just he swings. Oh, it's a home run. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
And he hit a pig that was flying, and it was the last flying pig. And that's the day they went extinct, and that's where the pigs flying idiom came from.
Yeah. As it just disappears. It's
It's like, oh, well, there was the last one.
yeah. Flying pigs. Now down to Babe Ruth. Okay, cool.
Spider pig, spider pig.
Does whatever a spider pig does. Can it swing from a web?
No, it can't because it's a pig.
Thank you. Right, cool. Now that we've got that warm-up going, it's on with the show.
Spider
Yay, show.
Hi guys, this is the Immaterial Gamers podcast, and this is episode number
13?
13?
Have you lost
13.
track?
My last one was... Hold on. Or was it 12? Because I was in here the last one, wasn't I? Or was it
Yeah,
not?
you hosted the last one.
Alright, well, my last one was 11, so... If I was here last time, then we're on 12.
12?
Should
12. Well, we're on a number. It's Immaterial Gamers podcast, episode blank.
It's episode 12.
We're at a number that's high enough that we're starting to lose track already. We've been
Yeah.
doing this for like 3 months or something now.
Yeah, bloody hell.
No, it's
Yeah.
12 now because the last one was 11.
11.
For
Okay.
Alright, we have
Control Alt
confirmation.
Delete Cat.
Yes. Yeah, it was episode Control Alt Delete Cat.
What was
And
11?
this episode, which will be episode, quote, to be determined later. Yeah, I'm back. Again.
Welcome back, Ryan.
Thank you.
Hello, Ryan.
Thank you. Back from my trip into Blackpool, looking at a tower and lights and all the Category C slot machines you could ever get to use.
Mm.
But yeah, we're back. We're recording on the 21st of October 2018, and as Notimagain and Ryan says, it's time to now introduce people, because we've got stuff we need to get on and talk about. So, starting from Darius, we'll start with Darius.
Neat.
Hello, everyone.
Cool. And we move on to our good old Canadian friend, Geoff Vader, Duncan.
Not hosting this week. Ayo.
And finally, from around 400 meters away, it's D.
Hey.
There we go. So,
That wasn't very positive.
Yeah.
Try it again,
enthusiasm.
Danny. Try it again.
It's D.
Second of... Oh god, too much enthusiasm.
Once we get the balance, everything's great now. But it's all sorted. Right. So,
If you use it all up, then you're not gonna have much energy left for the next time you're on. This is only your second appearance.
yeah,
You gotta deal it out.
you've got at least like 4 or 5 appearances before it becomes routine. So yeah, enjoy yourself in the first before it goes worse. Anyway, we've got our usual features. Well, I say that we've got truncated games we've been playing. We're going to try and just get through them a little bit quicker, or at least try and find something that we can talk about and not spend half an hour on a podcast on. We're trying stuff new. We're trying
Yeah, just
new
focus
ways
on
of
like
doing
one main game and try to abbreviate it to a few minutes if we
Yeah.
can.
stuff. Yeah, we'll try to do that. Little question and answers and all that business. We're then going to go through the features, which does work. The news. We've got some happy, sad, and news this week. So
Usual blend.
yeah, always a good set. And then we don't have any new releases or anything because it's only the middle of October still. So we're going to have a feature that I'm codenaming The Oddest, and it's to do with Sims 3 patch notes. But we'll get on with that a little bit later. So what we'll do is we'll start with the games that we've been playing, or a game that we can talk about for a little bit. Let's start with Duncan.
Yeah, I've probably got the most to say about the game I'm going to be focusing on this week, so I might as well get me out of the way
Yeah, let's go for it.
first. So, in contrast to my usual gaming discussion portions on this podcast. I actually have been playing games this week. My entire week has been replaced by Square Enix.
Oh, good.
As I have been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15 this week.
Oh yes, Final Fantasy 15 Windows Royal Edition.
Yeah, I've been really getting into that since I've got my controller in, and I definitely think that getting the gamepad was the correct way to play this game. I'm happy with that decision. I've also been playing a lot of The World Ends With You on Switch, but I'm not going to talk about that this week. I might save that for next week when I'm closer to finishing it with my sister. Yeah. I'm currently co-oping that with my sister, and I'm looking forward to getting through that. But
that's good. You see, that's just the thing. The sound of co-oping with The World Ends With You. That's just music to my ears. But
that's the way the game was made to be played. I'll tell you more about that next week.
Yeah.
For this week, I'm going to focus on Final Fantasy 15. Last week, I kind of teased a little bit into Final Fantasy 15 because, as I'm sure Ryan knows from having edited the video, it was a bit of an interesting start where it was mostly just cutscenes, some technical problems, and I got about 1 millisecond into gameplay before my game crashed. So
millisecond.
I was not off to a good start last week, but this week I've had some actual gameplay, and it's much more positive reaction this time.
Yeah, once you get over the starting sequence of pushing a car to Florence and the Machine's cover of Stand By Me.
Yeah, it was such a bizarre way to begin this type of game, I have to say.
Yeah.
So where to begin with Final Fantasy 15? It's a complicated game. There's a lot to explain with this game. So first of all, I haven't been in Final Fantasy for about 14 years. The last new one I played was Final Fantasy X-2 when that came out, and that was I want to say 2004 for that game. So yeah, about 14 years I've been out of the Final Fantasy loop.
Yeah.
So they've changed quite a bit in my absence. For starters, this one is heavily focused on the open world action RPG genre of game as opposed to the turn-based ones that I grew up with. More in line with, I guess, the Kingdom Hearts series, which is really kind of what set them down that path.
Yeah.
One of the main features of this game is driving around in your car, which you have to, which the game starts with you pushing to a gas station. That's pretty humorous.
And saying hello to Cindy, is it the?
Yeah, Cindy, the granddaughter of Sid.
Yep. Because every Final Fantasy game must have a Sid.
Although this might be the least important Sid in the series, honestly. Yeah. I've only talked to him like once so far. Yeah.
Like a hunting mission, and that was about it, isn't it?
Yeah, and he can upgrade my equipment, but I haven't bothered to do that because I'm lazy, and it takes forever to travel between places. But yeah, I mean, this game decided to take the somewhat realistic approach to distances between hotspots and locations. Like, every quest marker is separated by a matter of miles, and unless you've already been to a place before, you have to manually drive there, which can take up to 5 minutes at a time. So far, is the longest distance I've had to travel.
Yeah, but you get a bit of time to look at those vistas, those really pretty places.
Yeah, it's a growing trend in games that's it's less amazing than it should be. Like, if this was the very first game I had seen that had this type of mechanic, it would be more mind-blowing. But I love this growing trend of, like, open-world games that are so big and have such a huge, like, draw distance to them, where it's like, that thing way in the horizon, hundreds of miles away. You could go there if you want to. It'll take you an hour and a half, but you can get there.
Yeah, and just making sure, you better enjoy that hour and a half getting to that big sword. Don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, I will say our colorful cast of supporting characters, they alternate between likable and cool and kind of obnoxious and goofy. Sometimes, I find that they've recorded just a few too many, like, reaction noises for them. Like, it's just like every 5 seconds, just like a ooh, huh? You know, like just like grumbles of confusion, irritation, annoyance, discomfort, bewilderment. Sometimes in completely inappropriate times. It's like I walk past them and they're like, "What?"
How do I not know you notice? Huh? Huh? Well, surprising. How many new recipes have you ended up discovering them?
The new recipes. Okay, so that's a whole other thing I should introduce. This is one of those games that if you're one of those people who is bothered by the idea that your characters never seem to sleep or eat or need to sleep or eat, if that's the kind of person you are going to love this game because you are constantly eating and sleeping in this game. You eat a meal every day if you're doing the game right, and you sleep every night.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is it's been a while since I played 15, but this was the one where you banked XP, isn't it, by resting?
Yeah, when you fight monsters and do quests, you get experience, but you don't actually level up from that experience until you sleep. And the reason for that is because depending on where you sleep, you get sort of an EXP modifier. If you camp out in the wilderness, you don't get any bonuses, but your cool English butler, what was his name? Ignis, that's it. He'll make you a free meal, which will give you a stat boost in the morning. And that's where the whole new recipe thing comes from. He likes to come up with random new recipes based on ingredients that you've found in the wild or even just leveling up.
Yeah, just at random points, though, as well. It's just
it's like middle of the boss fight. It's like I kill the last guy, and he's just like, I've discovered a new recipe. I'm going to make this at camp.
Oh, it's good. And I do like the fact that everyone like in that is a specialist as well. So Noctis is, he's the, just the everyman, the fighter, the prince.
Yeah, the Noctis, the prince. He can do a little bit of everything, but he likes fishing.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't know if it's a big thing. Like, do Japanese royalty like to go fishing? I don't know.
Princely patience, possibly.
It's unfortunate that the fishing is by far my least favorite thing to work on, so I never level it up.
Yeah.
I never get to do the one thing that Noct supposedly likes very much.
Yeah, and then Ignis is the cooking.
Ignis is like our butler. He drives, he cooks, he gives you advice. He really is your travel butler.
And then who else have we got? Is it Gladius?
We got Gladio, who's just a big muscle dude he's a survivalist. He's your personal trainer. He's your bro. He's your bro guy. Not actually your brother.
Do Bros United.
And then we got Prompto, the goofy little sidekick / photographer.
Yeah.
Who likes to sing to himself and crack jokes and complain.
Who's the easiest to level up his own hobby because he's always taking pictures.
Yeah, he just automatically takes random screenshots of things that didn't actually happen most of the time. It's just like you'll be looking at the end of the day when you go to sleep, you'll get like photographs. You'll go through like a list of photographs that he took throughout the day supposedly, and some of them are like based on fights that you had that day, and others are more like just random incidental things. It's like, oh, here's us posing in the gas station, and here's us hanging out by the side of the road, and none of these things happen. I don't remember this happening.
I just love the fact though that you could be fighting and yet you rest for the night, and there's a selfie of him. He's looking while you're flying across the screen because you've just been knocked 70 feet by a Titan. Just good fun times.
Yeah, it's I have to say, the overall gameplay mechanics are fantastic. I absolutely love the game, gameplay standways. It's very fun. It's fluid. It's responsive. As far as like the story goes, I'm only like 15 hours into it, and I've spent probably 9 of those hours doing side quests and hunts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
and traveling. But I have to say the story is a little bit tonally confused from what I've seen so far. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's so bizarre. There's this scene right at the beginning of the game, spoilers, where you're off on a side quest, just doing whatever. I think you're gonna go get married or something, and on your way there, your hometown, your home city gets destroyed, and your dad gets murdered, and like the city explodes, and it's taken over by an empire, a neighboring empire. And then like, but like, and you know, there's a couple minutes where it's like, oh my god, this is horrible. I can't believe this has just happened to us. But like within minutes, you know, you regain autonomy of your character, and you can immediately go on side quests or talk to people. And the fact that you can do that, and all of a sudden you're just all like jovial and be like, nah, let's go have a rest. Let's go do this quest. It's like, oh, no problem. I can do this quest for you. And it's like, it's so weird. It's so jarring.
Yeah, it's like the world has gone to shit, but however, I have discovered a new recipe.
Exactly. And it's like, it's especially strange because every time you go camping in the wild, you get this like really like, for no pun intended, a really campy, corny, like almost like infomercial little tune going on in the background.
Yep.
It's just like the most cheerful, out of place thing ever. And like you can do this like immediately after you find out that, you know, you've been dethroned essentially and your dad is dead. It's just like, oh, okay, I guess we don't care about tone. We're just gonna plow through it.
Tone is a little bit weird in a game that has a mission, you know, and it doesn't do much, but it's a mission sponsored by Cup Noodle, and I don't know if you've noticed, all the gas stations take American Express.
They take American Express.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time you have a look at the garage, one of the doors when you enter the garage, or like a shop, just have a look what they take. Very weird that the planet of Eos has American Express as a payment. They're probably one of the only few places in the galaxy that does take American Express, but just so you know.
But yeah, so that's basically the summary of what I've experienced so far. Gameplay, solid, really fun. Story, confusing, tonally odd. Characters, middling.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I could go on. There's a lot to unpack with this game. It's a really complicated game. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. I'm actually considering like writing out a full review for the game. I mean, it's like a year late at this point. I don't even know if a review is a viable option at this point. But I would love to be able to just write my full feelings because there's a lot to go on.
Yeah. No worries. Well, we'll look forward to that. There's no problem. Right, review of a game that's old, new, you know, that's what we do. At good old Immaterial Gamers HQ. We write about what we want.
Yeah, I think that maybe as I get further into the game, I might go a little bit more in depth, at least in writing about it. I won't fully unpack everything here because, like I said, we're trying to get through at a somewhat brief pace, and I've already kind of broken that rule with how much I've talked.
Don't worry about it. We can sort stuff out. Right.
We can edit stuff.
Yeah, I do the editing these days. Look, I'm on 48-hour turnarounds now. That's why we do podcasts. I upload podcasts going forward on a Tuesday now. But
you leveled up your editing skill.
Yeah.
It's level 4 now.
Yep. It's all good. Right. Darius, have you completed Vampire yet?
I'm close to completing it, but have not finished it yet.
Okie dokie.
Unfortunately. I think I'm gonna finish it sometime next year.
Next year. Nice.
January. Podcast.
Well, it's like 2 months away,
Episode 36.
isn't it?
Darius completes Vampire.
So yeah, basically it looks like one of these things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I don't have time to finish because I'm getting myself into other games like Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, hello.
The first one.
Oh, is it the enhanced edition by any chance?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. How's that going for you?
They didn't really improve the visuals. However, they do support ultra-wide monitors, so that's a good plus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like. And well, the story and the gameplay and everything else is as it was before.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm kind of happy to jump into this rolling RPG game. Well, rolling as in you have to roll the dice, isn't it? However, you're not rolling; the system is rolling them for you.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's nice. It's literally the old-fashioned RPG game. It's nothing like Final Fantasy
Mm.
You
No,
don't have any fancy moves or story. Well, story is good, but it's it's old game, guys. So what do you expect?
Hey, just using the old. At this point, Neverwinter Nights would have been using the D&D 3rd edition rule set.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Now take into account that we're on D&D 5th, which even now is what 5 years old.
Exactly. But yeah, I wanted something, something not fresh, something old, something nostalgic, something with feel of the, you know where I'm coming from. I want to feel something which these times we can miss. We don't we don't see it in the games.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, so there's something unique in the games from 90s.
Mm. Yeah, sort of. No, I think you're right. It's sort of like nostalgia in a sort of sense, but it's more like going back to the roots of the game.
Yeah.
Really, something. Yeah.
Oh,
Something
yeah, exactly.
You may have missed beforehand. It's like hidden gems in a sense, isn't it? Sort of something that was good that you never got round to, and now we're picking it up and sort of enjoying it for what it was.
Yeah, and story-wise, it's completely different looking at the story when you are 15-year-old and when you are 25-old.
Mm.
So that's giving you a little bit different perspective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why mainly I picked it up on GOG. So yep.
Good old games for good old games.
Yeah, and
if I ever suggest for anything to pick up for enhanced edition, Infinite Dungeons.
Infinite Dungeons. I never tried that one before.
Yeah, used to be an old premium module for Neverwinter Nights, while Atari still had their servers. But now that Beamdog have picked it up and they've got that, it's just the idea is that you just run a constantly changing maze. So you just put your character in. You can either start a character or you can roll one. They suggest starting it from like the 5th level up. But yeah, it's just something a little bit different. There is a framework of a story, but if you just ever decide to want to deviate from the Neverwinter Nights campaign and just see how far you can live and survive a changing dungeon, I would suggest that for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely try it. And well, on top of playing for games like Heroes of the Storm, Rainbow Six, I'm not entirely sure if I am able to speak about it.
Go on, go for it.
Because I didn't sign anything, they just asked me to test the game.
Ooh, okay.
So it's nothing big. What it is I will avoid telling the names and etc. just to be safe. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a campaign on Kickstarter for a board game, which I backed up. They are really now advanced stage of finishing touches of the game, isn't it?
Right.
And there is a website, Tabletopedia, if I pronounce it right.
Yeah.
So they're making it the electronic version like a tutorial on it, on this website, and they asked me to test. Well, they were looking for people to test it. So yeah, giving my background, etc. I send them a message, and I am one of the 10 chosen people to test it.
Oh my God, Darius is one of the chosen ones.
Yes, the chosen few.
Yeah, chosen few.
Fantasy, apparently.
And so far, the initial gameplay mechanics, they work. Everything is fine because literally what you need is just flip the cards, isn't it? That's all what it is about. However, the instructions how to play the tutorial, they are not very clear. What it is they basically making you to jump from actual rulebook to this tutorial script.
Yeah.
So I don't really like it. I would prefer it to have like a tutorial, the mechanics tutorial in one booklet.
Yeah, sort of more like a quick start book, really, isn't it?
Yes.
That you want?
So you just basically what it is you're just reading the tutorial, and you're just flicking the cards, moving the cards, etc., etc.
Right.
Based on what is written on the booklet. So, for example, on the booklet it's saying now take, let's say, 1 red and 1 blue token.
Yeah, so it's more.
And then,
it's
okay, well, no, sorry, I cannot say. They are names for these tokens, for the red one, sorry, and blue one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Infinity token and Beyond token.
Okay.
Right? And then I'm gonna have to go back to rulebook. What the hell is Infinity token?
So they're giving you it without any context as to what it actually is and why you would care.
Yes. So you have to go back and forth with these ones, and in the same time you have to flip to the other screen window to play the game. So that's what I'm looking to kind of write. I'm basically write a report to them about it, and suggest that kind of slight change. Okay, keep the rule book, fine, but if it's like a tutorial scenario where you just literally showing them what to do with how to play the game, to introduce the game to the players. Just if you're saying pick up Infinity token, just make a little icon next to it, so I will know which one it is. Because for the first-time players, that's definitely a no-go.
Yeah, you don't want it being prohibitive to a new player from the off. It's just it's not. I mean, you don't. Yeah, I guess that's the hard balance of a board game designer, isn't it? You don't want to be condescending to all players and just assuming that, well, we're going to hold your hand for this and everything will just be fine. But yeah, you also don't want to turn around and go, well, yes, you need to be 5th level cleric in a entirely different game before you'll have the knowledge to play our games.
Exactly. But well, anyway, the game is nice. It feel good. So I'm really, that kind of proved the concept of what I've backed on the Kickstarter.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really waiting for it right now. Can't wait.
Cool.
On that note, I will end my gaming discussion.
Okay, cool. Darius has used end turn, and now priority goes on to D. What have you been playing, mate?
I've been playing the truck simulator that you've been playing.
Oh, the
American Truck Simulator.
The American Truck Simulator. Yeah.
Done a handful of hours on that. I've been going through the old dungeons on WoW.
Okay.
What else? Playing a bit of Siege and trying to play Minecraft with the Skybox one.
Right, yeah, the Skyblocks Minecraft. Okay. Well, how are the states of California and Arizona faring for you for American Truck Simulator?
Doing okay-ish. I've covered about half of California so far, and I've only done a little bit into Nevada and Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've got Nevada as well, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've made about 80k so far, so I've not got enough yet to buy my first truck.
You'll be getting there. You'll be getting there. You went for the learn how to sort of play it way. Me as a veteran of Euro Truck Simulator 2, went and the first opportunity I could to get a big, massive, weighty loan, I did.
I'm doing it from scratch.
Yeah.
I've done it off what Terry recommended with the heavy goods thing. So I've got the heavy goods now, I've got a little bit of long distance, and I'm going a little bit of fuel economy.
Cool.
Maybe.
Coolios.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. With American Truck Simulators, I drive, I turn, I jackknife, I drive.
I stall the rig. I nearly blow it up.
Oh.
If you can blow it up. It's just
You
like...
can't blow them up.
But, yeah, no, it's
Oh, you
engine
can
failing. Engine failing. Please go to services. Engine failing. It's like...
Yeah, well, that's because you told me you were doing you were going down head-on traffic at one point. I drive like a Briton. You need to drive on the right-hand side of the road. Nah, that's for fools.
Driving on the right side.
Hey man, his truck versus their cars. What do you think's gonna win?
I went against another 18-wheeler. I went against another 18-wheeler at one point and took 47% damage.
Oh my God,
About
you've been playing,
68 miles an hour.
You're playing bloody Sega's 18-wheeler. The arcade game where you just shove your rivals off the road. That's not the simulator.
Either that or that one Burnout game type where you try to cause as much destruction as possible by throwing your car off a ramp.
Yes. You know, they actually brought out a game called Danger Zone. X criteria. Yeah. Danger Zone. Yeah. They brought out just a game that is just crash stuff. Old X Criterion employees before EA gobbled them up.
To be honest, yeah, the game mode in Burnout where you just blow your car up and just bounce down the street.
They were the best. They were the best.
That was fun.
We need another good Burnout game. We need EA to stop fucking with our nostalgia.
And to give us another Burnout game? To mess with our nostalgia in a different way?
Yeah. Sorry, D, go on.
Oh, what was it?
That was the last thing.
Yeah, trying to blow up the engine and stuff. I've actually made 120k and 40k of it's been repairs. And, like, collision costs.
Yeah, that's
Hey, that's an 80%. That's an 80,000 profit.
yeah.
That's a win in my books.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I didn't crash as much and get so many traffic violations, the other thing is running red lights. And yeah.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, the red lights are there for a reason.
Half the time you can't see them. Oh, that was the thing. I've been playing tried to play at least half of it time in first person mode, from the truck driver's point of view.
Yeah.
Until it comes to parking. Parking's a nightmare in first person.
I'm with you on that one. Now, the moment parking comes along, push button 2, you can have the overhead view.
Yeah, I've been playing that on a pad, not keyboard and mouse.
Keyboard and mouse, just a better way. But that's just me. That's
Moving
just
on.
me.
Oh, if you want to, I think that's later than new release stuff. Like Soul Calibur came out this weekend.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. Because guess who went and picked it up?
Probably you, because Soul Calibur's a staple for you.
Oh, Soul Calibur is my favourite set of fighting games.
Oh man.
I thought it would have been
Oh,
Tekken. No.
No, Tekken's too stilted.
Huh.
But yeah. No. If you're ready for me to talk about Soul Calibur, I will talk about it.
Okay.
I gotta say, man, I played a lot of Soul Calibur too. Now I got a gamepad. I'd be interested in picking that up if I had some money.
Yeah.
I've got 2, 3, and 4 for Soul Calibur.
Yeah. Well, this is number 6, which is a reboot, in a sense. It's an anniversary edition, so they now tell you the story from the beginning, from the end of Soul Blade, the 1995.
Is it
Yes.
Soul Edge? Or?
It depends where you're based.
Yeah, depends on what region.
For us, it was Soul Blade.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So what? Was it just illegal to name the same thing, a game the same as it was in other countries before like 2000?
Well, it's a bit
I
like.
don't know.
Is that just a thing?
Well, it's a bit like what did it with Harry Potter? They did the Sorcerer's Stone and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Well, that was a localization thing because people in America wouldn't know how to associate a philosopher with, stone. They would have no idea what that means. It's like, sorcerer, that's magic. Sorcerer.
Probably
stone.
do the same
Easy.
thing for the blade, like Soul Edge, Soul Blade.
Yeah, maybe, or it could just be Namco fucking with you.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, I see what you mean. That's actually a thing. But yeah, so it goes from the events of Soul Blade slash Edge to the events of Soul Calibur 5. Or, no, 4. It kind of pretends that 5 didn't exist.
Can't say I remember much about 5.
Don't worry about it. It was basically Soul Calibur, the new class. It had the offspring of Taki, the offsprings of Sophitia and all that. It kind of just went, yeah, we ended the story now. How do we bring it back for another fighting game? No, Namco have just went, screw that. We're just going to tell you the whole story from Soul Blade to Soul Calibur 4. A 10-year span. Fighting game-wise, it's Soul Calibur. Vertical attacks, horizontal attacks, kicks. Your unblockables, your stuff like that. It's got a couple of features in it now, a couple of features in it called the lethal hit, which, when you do a specific thing with your character against someone's attacks, you send them flying. I mean, not just flying partway across the stage. I mean, flying about 10 foot up into the air and back down.
Was it
exciting?
Was it 3 or 4 that had the campaign thing where it was a bit like Orochi? Or was Orochi?
That was none of them.
Well, I have a more important question.
Yeah.
How does it feel to play as Geralt?
I haven't played as Geralt yet.
I'm not talking to you anymore. Geralt.
Excuse me, Killick for life. Thank you very much. No, but I've played against Geralt.
Okay.
He's fluid as a character. So he's more one of those ones. The one that you're talking about, Dan, was the side mode of number 3, but it wasn't a core part of it.
And the one you play, is that the Burning Bridges guy with the staff?
Yes, though he hasn't used Burning Bridges since number 3.
Okay.
They got rid of it. But anyway, still, yeah, the other feature that they've got is called Reversal Edge. And you basically push a button. It's a vertical attack. You charge it up a little bit. If someone tries to attack you with an attack, you'll parry it. And then you enter a weird rock, paper, scissors game. It's like you push a button, your opponent pushes a button, and then depending on what attack you've used, one of you will win. It's possible, though, because they've got other little bits to try and make it just less like Dragon Ball Z and more like Soul Calibur. Not only are there the rock, paper, scissors buttons, but there is you can still have side steps and stuff in there as well. So if you push an attack that you think might not win, you can then also do a side steppy thing and hope that your opponent hasn't just done something to just, kick the living shit out of you. They've still got the ability to destroy armor, so you can watch your heavily armor plated dudes suddenly become shirtless within 2 seconds. The way that they've done the story modes in it is it's intertwining. So you've got what's called Soul Chronicle, which is the main story of the history of Soul Edge, and by extension Soul Calibur.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you've got both blades.
Yeah. Then you've got individual characters' stories attached to that. And then there's a second mode called Libra of Soul, which is a story mode, like an RPG mode, in a sense, with your customized characters. And depending on how much you play of each mode, you can intertwine them. They meet each other. So you get known as a character called the Conduit for story reasons. And I was playing it. I'm playing a shapeshifter. He's blue. He's wearing a leather jacket. He looks like he's just come out from the Matrix, but has not had his facial features fully formed.
It's not like a blue kind of deal.
Yeah, he's just blue. He's just blue. Coat, headband. Yep. One of the people who were watching me playing it said he looked like a gimp. I told him he definitely wasn't. He was a shapeshifter because he's got a mouth and facial features. Ish.
Don't you love when you can have your own custom character be really important, a really serious storyline, and you could just make him look like a total twat?
Yep. And a twat I have made him. But still, yeah, so he's going through that, and I got far enough in the story that I met Killick and Edgemaster. They're both in the game. I did a fight. I switched over to the Soul Chronicle, and and the Soul Chronicle at the moment is following Killick. Because he's, one of the more rounded characters, really. And I don't mean that in terms of the fighting, I mean in his characterization, him. You get to a point where you're sat there training as Kilik, and it's just like, oh yeah, someone's here to fight you. And you don't know who you're fighting until you're on the stage. And lo and behold, oh look, there's my conduit character. Except that now, instead of kicking Kilik's ass in 3 straight rounds, I had to kick the shit out of myself, and it kind of depressed me a little. But yeah, it's just that nice bit that if you play both story modes,
It can cross.
yeah.
Crossover, yeah. So, is Edge Master above or below Edge Lord?
Edge Master is above Edge Lord. Edge Lord still, is still too controversial to be fully professional, whereas an Edge Master has managed to get over that bullshit phase of his life and move on and look to help other people.
He's the edgiest.
Yes, he's the edgiest. However, Soul Edge Lord, they're the worst of the worst.
Oh god.
So
that's-
Edge is the
that's
demon.
They have
But,
so much edge that Edge Masters think that they're overly dramatic.
Yeah,
Well, isn't Soul Edge the evil sword?
yeah, Soul Edge is the evil sword.
Mhm.
Well, in a sense, if you actually think about number 4, it was a bit weird that actually Soul Edge and Soul Calibur were both evil, in a sense. It's like they both had their own ways of trying to destroy each other. They both used their respective hosts, holders, and shit like that. But yeah, enjoying Soul Calibur. Not gone online with it yet because I prefer to bathe in the greatness that is my character and not be just taken down 8 pegs by random button basher number 2.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi guys. Right, there you are. Yeah, but
Look
yeah, no,
forward to fighting you.
but I've been
Kill you soon.
enjoying that, and then other than that, I've started some recording for the game Resonance of Fate / End of Eternity. See, again, another game, 2 completely different names. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. That's an RPG that I will be spending a lot of time with over the coming weeks because I'm recording a video series of it, which will end up on the YouTubes soon.
Very nice.
So
Very exciting.
yeah. So now that we've got that, we're going to we're 40 minutes in. Let's do what we call quick news.
Quick news.
Yeah, quick news. So let's look and see what we've got. We'll start from the top. Here we go. Yes, did we all... Let's start with the first story of the CSGO player who managed to get him and his entire team disbanded because he was a cheating scumbag.
Does not surprise me.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so this...
I gotta be honest, I was too busy playing Final Fantasy 15, but so I didn't actually read any of the news.
Don't worry,
So.
you are in for a treat on this one. So there was an official tournament that was going on. So it was called the Extremes Land
Money involved.
tournament.
Well, money are involved in tournaments.
Yeah,
isn't it?
this is a proper tournament.
In prizes, like yeah.
$100,000 equivalent prize, and they were in the finals, and they're playing, and randomly the game pauses, and officials are checking one guy's computer. The player, what's his name? Mikhail Forsaken Kumawat. Was actually had an aimbot installed in the match where people could see him. They twigged on it.
The live spectated major championship tournament being watched by thousands of people, as well as several judges and commentators, and the other team.
Yep. And this guy is aimbotting. It was a triggered aimbot apparently, so he could turn. It was a toggled one, but when it wasn't an aimbot, it was a wall hack.
Oh, good, because cheating in one flavor isn't enough.
So there is a Twitter there's a video from CS:GO to Asia that shows him ripping the mouse away from an official because he's trying to delete the hack before they check his computer. So it's just quite clearly a cheating scumbag.
Yeah. Rip the mouse away from the official before he checks it. So I was like, I just have to delete my browser history before you check that. Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's like just ridiculous. But what's happened is he's not just cost him, though apparently he's cheated. Like, he's cheated before. He's been banned before. So
good.
obviously learnt very well. However, he's not just ruined his CS:GO career, because Team Optic, which is the CS:GO team he was part of, released a statement later on that day that basically said, "We stand strongly against any form of cheating, as it not only tarnishes the local roster but potentially harms competitive integrity in the region. We have terminated Nikhil Forsaken Kumawat's contract for his actions. At this time, we are also releasing the remaining roster to pursue new opportunities with other competitive options." So that was from their own Twitter account. So he's basically got the rest of his team sacked, regardless of whether they knew he was doing his scumbaggy actions or not. They now all have to find new teams to join.
Well, I know who's getting stoned tonight.
Yeah, he isn't welcome anymore. But yeah, so we start off with the poor news of some cheating scumbag being a cheating scumbag, but at least he got caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good news. Everyone saw what he was doing. So it was all great.
I just cannot get my head around how you can cheat on the fucking tournament.
Well, that's actually, that was the question that people have been bringing up. It's like, what? He brought his own PC to the tournament, and it's like, that's not necessarily the case. A lot of people have been saying that while all the PCs at the tournament are run by the organisers, they let players bring their own keyboards and mice. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's their personal stuff. But
you can put a program in. You can just do a better program into the keyboard and mouse.
That's the thing. A lot of these keyboards and mice are programmable. Nothing stops them running a script. The other thing that they were saying on this is because they were playing a CS:GO tournament, they'd be using Steam, and nothing stops Steam downloading a Steam Workshop file that contains the aimbot as they log on to their account. So there's ways around it. But yeah, what idiot openly cheats in a tournament game?
Because he really wanted to snipe someone in the face.
Yeah, well,
and he can't aim for shit.
Esports are getting spicy, man. I recall reading articles a couple of years ago in the StarCraft 2 community of people fixing matches. Like, there's a huge gambling scene on Korean StarCraft 2 matches.
Yeah.
And there were a number of top level Korean players who were caught throwing matches, or basically throwing matches in order to please someone's bets and have them go some way. And basically the way they track this is watching all of a sudden towards the end of a match a sudden shift in bets moving from one player to another, and then all of a sudden he throws. It's like, oh, okay, so that was a throwing game. And the people, they get jail sentences for that shit.
Yeah.
There are people who've gone away for 2-3 years, been fined the equivalent of $250,000. It's a big deal. They're not taking that lightly.
No, definitely. I mean, this is South Korea now, isn't it? Where they now have they have stadiums for StarCraft. Riot bought an arena that they could host League of Legends in. In fact, that's where the tournaments, the finals, or at least the playoffs, are being held in Lol Park in Seoul, Korea. It's called Lol Park. It is a purpose-built League of Legends arena.
I want to take a stroll down Lol Park.
Yeah, so it seats 500 people. They get to watch on screens, but they are on an elevated view, so they can watch the players as well. Players face each other, which is a bit different to a lot of sort of esports games where they usually sit the teams side by side with a gap in the middle. No. In LoL Park, you face your opponents. You look straight into his eyes and then look down again, because you need to actually keep an eye on where you're positioned on your computer. But still.
Yeah, you look you look your opponent in the eye as you aimbot them and try to cheat in the
Yeah.
tournament.
Well, anyway, before we go to so we go from arseholes, cheating to other weird decisions being made, but this time by publishers. So, I didn't know this until I actually looked at the news. I was getting it prepared today, but Squeenix are bringing out a single sitting game. They're calling it. It's just an adventure game that is part FMV game and then part fighting game, like combat. Called The Quiet Man. And the advertising they got for this, or the unique selling point, is that you are playing a deaf character called Dane. But you play as Dane. So you see everything through, or you see everything through his eyes, but you also don't hear through his ears. You'll play the entirety of the game with muffled audio, no subtitles, because you're playing a deaf guy.
That's a very interesting concept.
So you kind of have to, because of that, his character, he's got sort of better reflexes and is actually a bit more combative. But I'd be interested to see how they do that in a game where, a lot of fighting games you usually hear cues from enemies as they're attacking. They'll make some stupid telegraphed "yeah" sound before they attack. So it'll be a bit different to sort of play a game where you're not going to be able to hear that. So you have to sort of do the fighting the other way. But this is the odd thing that Squeenix have done. Given that that's the unique selling point of the game, they've stated that once you complete it, you can do a second playthrough, but it'll turn all the sound on.
Yay! I can hear things.
Yeah, but
that kind of defeats the purpose.
like, why? Yup.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Memento, and how in the DVD version you can watch it the normal way through, which is, if you don't know anything about Memento, it's basically all the scenes are shown to you in the reverse order. But then on the DVD you can play it in like the normal way, like forwards, all the scenes in chronological order. That's the one.
It's very, very weird. That'd be a bit like also playing. Has anyone played Beyond Two Souls?
Yeah.
So it was a Quantic Dream game.
I quite like that.
It was a good one. It was like the way that you played it. You played as Ellen Page's character, and I've forgotten what her name was called. But all the levels that she did were told in a story way, so you'd learn each plot point as they were. But the way it was sold was that her memories were a little off kilter, so she's just randomly telling you sort of memories, so you piece it together that way. But once you completed the game, you had the option of playing you could play it in chronological order as well. But it didn't make sense because there was stuff that you were learning in the chronological that you would never have known until sort of other points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure about this. I mean, it's a unique selling point. If you're supposed to, especially when they say, this is on the Steam page for it says that you play as a deaf character, Dane, and experience the world as the character does, with very little distinct audio and no subtitles. It's up to you to make up your own interpretation of the story as your search for the masked man unfolds. Someone gets kidnapped, he goes out to save him. This is from GameSpot, by the way. The last story was from PC Gamer. There we go, I have now sourced all my stories so far, and we'll carry on. Yeah, but if the whole point is supposed to be to interpret your own story, aren't you going to then be a bit pissed off at what the story actually is once you've got the sound and understand what's going on?
Yeah, it does kind of take away from it. It's like, make up your own story, or here's your own interpretation. It's like, oh, by the way, this is the actual story. This is the real canonical story, and you can't change that.
Oh, what is it? That way you could compare. The only way thing is, if you was going to do it on a balance point, is to see how you would compare and contrast how you thought you perceived it to how it's actually perceived.
Yeah. But yeah, I know where you're coming from, but yeah, it is just a little bit odd. I mean, it isn't going to stop me from trying it, because it does seem interesting enough to actually play. I mean, the game's coming out on the 1st of November for PS4 and PC.
I wonder if
So-
they have the. It's like when you do it in school, because we had to do it in school. We had to we had classes where we were deaf, blind, and something else.
Yeah, they call us. It's like it used to be deaf, dumb, and blind, but now people like that are known as deaf blind. Because
Yeah,
the idea of calling
basically-
someone dumb was a bit insulting, to be honest. And yeah, I'd agree with that.
Basically, you had to learn Braille, sign language, and lip reading.
Yeah,
So I wonder if in the Quiet Man they'll have it thinking enough for lip reading, because that's how you would learn. If you had that sense took off you, you'd be forced to lip read /
yeah, it's a bit weird.
piece it together.
Because they do have a teaser trailer for it. It shows Dane walking down an alley, and there's these three like gangbangers, and just like, oh yeah, you're in the wrong neighborhood, bro. You better turn around. We're gonna steal your shit, and all that. Now, if it got to me that Dane was actually a lip reader, he would have responded in the action other than what he did, which is in the trailer. He just points to his ear and shakes his head. So it's more likely he's like a mute character as well. But anyway,
Yeah.
still comes out November the 1st. It might be something worth looking at. Yeah, if it's a single sitting game, might even just do a gameplay of it. It's not, won't be too hard. But anyway, we move on to our last piece of news before we get to the oddest, and it's a very quick one from Kotaku. Just more leading into the idea of Rockstar not being the paragons of gameplay that people think they are. That apparently, so Red Dead Redemption comes out next Thursday. Oh, October 26th. When's that? Thursday? Wednesday? Friday. It's Friday, Ryan.
Next
Yeah,
Friday.
Well
something
done.
like that,
You
yeah.
know how to use a calendar. Cheers, guys. Yeah, so it comes out on Friday, and every major store and Amazon and digital stores are going to get the game there and then. Not so
Right.
for independent stores. Rockstar are not delivering units of Red Dead Redemption 2
game.
until a week later.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. In this whole idea of open market and free market and everything like that.
And support local
Yeah.
business, except you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, no, you can't, because and a lot of games are going to be sold, and this is the thing that most statisticians look at. When they look at copies sold for a game, they look within the first week. 48 hours in some cases. And then you're basically saying at that point that some places, they affect our sales too much, that you're not going to be selling them in independents. It's a bit of a dick move.
And I don't see the reason why they're doing that, because at the end of the day, that's money for the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to miss out on thousands of units in sales figures if they're going to be, trying to make reports within the first week or so of the game being released.
Basically, they're trying to monopolize it as well. Well, it's to monopolize it as well. You have to buy it off these
Well, it's
companies.
just like, what
price.
stakes do they have? It's like, what business deals do they have with these companies that they have to push this sales model to reap their supposed maximum benefit?
Yeah, I mean, this is come upon the case that they're deciding that the only stores that matter are the big ones, the ones where they can get pre-order bonus stuff and DLC culture, and they're like, oh wait, there we go, there's the answer, isn't it?
Added
It might
marketing.
be, but still, I don't see it. I don't know why they're doing. Because, for
Profit.
example, if I'm living like in a remote area, kind
Yeah.
of, and okay, the game's supposed to be in that shop by Friday.
Mhm.
So I've already set up my weekends. I'm staying at home. Wanted to play the game, but I will not change the plans because the game will not arrive. I will still probably stay at home, do something else, and pick the game a week later, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, it could be a backfire on Rockstar's part here. I mean, it's the second piece of like bad news that they've had all week.
Yeah.
There's there was the leak out that, I mean, granted they were quality control or they were QA testers, but still, they're still as important as developers. Anyway, working 100-hour weeks to get Red Dead out, and the games industry or like some news sites were running it like it was a fucking achievement. It's like, oh yeah, we've got these guys slaving away to get the game that you wanted. No, 100-hour weeks, and this led to was it Sam or Dan Houser? I think it was Sam. It was one of the Houser brothers, the ones who own Rockstar. Talking about, oh no, we didn't force anyone to do it. No, I wouldn't work a 100-hour week. I wouldn't expect it for anyone else. However, there were targets that we needed to achieve, so anyone who helped out, it all worked out better. And immediately coming out with people who are saying, yes, I was a QA tester for Rockstar, but you damn well know that if I didn't say yes, I wouldn't be used for X project or Y project.
Well, it's like, you consider there's like 168 hours in a week. You take away 56 for 8 hours of sleep for 7 days a week. It's like, and then your 100 hours of work, you're left with like 12 hours for the entire week of not working. That's pretty rough. No,
it's an arsehole move. I sort of agree with sort of other critics and stuff like that. A big one, my boy Jim Sterling, Jimquisition himself. No, I agree with him. No, sorry. No, 100-hour work weeks is bullshit. Shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't ever have been happening. Shouldn't really be happening again. But until people vote where their money is and they don't do anything like that, it's not going to happen. So
similar thing like that happens in the animation things. Why animators, the Weekly Jump writers get burnt out because they have literally that week to write their comic.
Yeah, the ridiculous burnout that they have is just not. It's just not right. It shouldn't.
It's
it just
like
shouldn't happen.
It's like the guy that writes One Piece. He has 4 days to write a chapter. 4 to 5 days to get the chapter to the publisher. Final draft. Ready for the jump.
That was the depressing bit. We left the depressing stuff till the end there. Right. So quickly before we finish, because we are now running at an hour and 5, I want to play a very quick game with you. It's called The Oddest, and it's just basically just a hope that you are all people with no sort of humour whatsoever who don't laugh. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up very quickly. I'm going to go through.
Dibs.
I'm going to go through a list of scenarios. Now, this was suggested to me by my friend, workmate, Joe, from my workplace. He said, on your podcast, just go through some of the oddest Sims 3 patches that have ever happened in its history. And just see how people react, see how people laugh.
Are you talking literally about the game Sims 3?
The Sims 3 had some odd patch notes over its development cycle. And so I found them. So I found a list. This has come from an imager thing from Reddit, from the Sims Reddit. And we're going to go through the list. Try your best to just be calm as we go through the oddest Sims 3 patch notes. Number 1. Kleptomaniac Sims can no longer steal subway stations from lots. Now, the thing on that is kleptomaniac Sims could always come back from work and stuff like that with just random shit in their inventory, and you could just take them out. Apparently, there was a situation where they could take a subway station from the lot.
Just the whole subway station. Just in your pocket,
and then you trying to drag that out and wonder where you were going to place it on your 4x4 lot. Who would have known? Okay, number 2. Sims can no longer woohoo in the elevator with a sim who is on a different floor.
Well, that's just the way you should do that. I was waiting for that patch note, man. I hate it when my sim woohoos at someone who's not on the same floor as him, but specifically in an elevator. If he does it while he's just in his flat, that's fine.
Oh, here we go. Number 3. The Grim Reaper will no longer be prevented from reaping souls due to band affiliation.
Band affiliation?
Yeah. There's the thing that when your sim could make a band, they could make it a certain types of band. But I'm guessing if one of them was death metal, they could avoid being just killed by the Grim Reaper. Here we go, number 4.
That's a big metal fan. He likes to show up at concerts.
Just,
Sometimes there's an accident, you know.
yeah, it's just how it is. Number 4, fixed a tuning issue so that Sims now vomit at acceptable levels.
Vomit at acceptable levels of tuning? What, they can sing it, they could like vomit in like 8 octaves?
Oh man.
It's like bop, 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 bop.
Oh yes.
Well, that's evolved very quickly to everyone just making vomiting noises.
Well, this is working exactly as I wanted it to. This is great. Number 5, it is no longer possible to try for baby with the Grim Reaper.
Wait, so
Okay.
prior to this patch, you could like attempt to solicit the Grim Reaper for baby sex?
Apparently.
It's like I don't just want to do you, okay? I want to have a baby with you. Not anymore.
just Death's like, no, complications. Gotta go. I've got a rock band I need to. I've got a concert I need to attend to.
If death impregnates a baby, is it like, does it create another Grim Reaper, or is the baby just dead?
Oh God.
Or does it create a baby Grim Reaper?
Oh.
Death
Yeah,
babies.
Death Junior.
It's
Death
just a little
baby.
skeleton. It's like, oh my god, it's dead. No, it's supposed to look like that.
Oh yes. Number 6. Become enemies with child. Wish no longer appears. So in Sims they could have wishes and fears. So a Sim
Wishes
could
and
wish to
fears.
become enemies with a child. Usually evil Sims.
Wait, can they fear becoming enemies with children?
Yeah. Yeah, sort of. Like,
Yeah.
no,
So they could still be afraid of being enemies with children.
yeah, just like no,
But they can no longer desire
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like I love being hated by children. I love getting into fights with
Yep.
children. It's just the best.
It's just as it is. They just
I've taken away my favorite pastime.
there's just a lot of situations with just adult Sims just virtually bullying children into submission. That's basically what happened. Number 7. Sims who are on fire will no longer be forced to attend graduation before they can put themselves out.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah, I'm just so.
I don't know if you've noticed, Dan, but they're all oddly specific. That's kind of the running theme
Yeah,
of these patch
yeah.
notes.
I'm just picturing just this guy, and it's like, and here, Jack Daniels, and there's just this flame walking in, burning the diploma that they get, and then just.
I'm actually thinking about the flip side of that, where it's like the dude's like baking cookies or something at home, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm on fire! Oh shit, I'm late for graduation!" and books it down the road.
Still on fire. It's just like Human Torch style. Oh yeah.
Get some Johnny Blaze in there.
Yeah.
Just sets the whole neighborhood on fire on his way. He comes back, and it's just a apocalyptic wasteland.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, phew.
Here we go. Number 8. Pregnant Sims can no longer brawl.
Can no longer brawl. Well, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
That's just simple, really. That's just how that works.
It's like it's like that episode of Family Guy where it's like Peter gets in a fight with that chick that looks like a dude. It's like, hey, you punched my mom.
Oh,
No, I
baseball
punched
game.
your dad.
Yep. Here we go. Number 9. Baby Sims will no longer become stuck on a Sim's hand while driving a car.
Wait, while the baby's driving the car, or the adult's driving the
while
car?
the adult's driving the car, there would be situations
It's
where
just like
the baby Sim would just stick as a graphic on their hand.
This is like, baby Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes.
And kid baby's just like, goo goo gaga.
Yeah, just like,
It's like, oh, this was a terrible idea. Crash.
Number 10. Sims will no longer receive a wish to skinny dip with mummies.
Like as in like
Skeleton
the
mummies
slang
or
word
mummy
for
mummies?
moms? Or?
No. As in the
mummy. Egyptian.
Yeah, Egyptian bandaged.
I was thinking like I was thinking like cougars like trying to hit on you and like go skinny dipping, you know?
Oh god.
Well, because if you try it, you end up having skinny dip with a skeleton.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Like, we went to the Grim Reaper thing, I guess. You cannot solicit the Grim Reaper or mummies for sex.
Yeah. Here we go. Number 11. Brace yourself for this one. A meteor can hit a building, in which case everyone will run out before the collision. Those who do not exit the building will die. Sims automatically leave if a meteor is approaching, unless it is a school, in which children are not allowed to leave and will always die.
Wow, they specifically
Whoa.
programmed that into the game?
You see, I don't know if that last one is actually true. All the others, I know they are, because I've double-checked them, but this one, I'm not too sure. But yeah, natural disaster and meteor would kill everyone in there. It is the fact that that does make sense, because in the way that The Sims is coded, adult Sims can leave work early and never attend and stuff like that. A child Sim can be late to school, but once they are there, can't leave until the time's done. So that would make
Okay.
sense, and it's just absolutely awful.
Hands on your head, get low to the ground. Time to duck and cover, the meteor is coming. Duck and cover.
That's just still playing on the TV as all these kids are left just going, why is Mr. Rollins gone? Where's he? Oh no. Mummy! Bang.
Or
All the teachers have left. All the principals have left. It's like, take the children, don't take us. We have careers.
Yes. Oh man. So yeah.
We contribute to the GDP, damn it. We deserve to
Yeah.
live.
Well, so that was that's the oddest Sims patch notes. So,
It's like, we can make another kid, you know. We don't, do you know how long it'll take to train another
yeah,
principal?
yeah, excuse me, I just need to go and do something. Grim Reaper, I want to bang. It save problems, doesn't it?
Baby Grim Reaper grows up to be the principal.
Yeah. Hello, I am high school head teacher Def.
Can you imagine that? It's just like he's the headmaster of the school, and he's just having a really bad day, right? He's just like, all right, I know how to fix this. Meteor.
Boom! Just click the fingers. Done.
And that's my quota filled for
Yeah.
the month. I'm going to Hawaii.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm trying to actually remember. I think it was Soul Eater. The Grim Reaper. It's a Grim Reaper Academy.
Sure. That works. Right, so that was the oddest. And that was the first.
That was the
that
oddest.
that
was the
was
first bit of
quite odd.
of the oddest. I will try and see if we can find more of them, or think of more ideas. Though, if anyone has any ideas and you are, like I say, listening to this podcast, please let us know on the Twitter, on the Facebook, in the comments of YouTube or podcasts, wherever you can do it. Let us know. And we may do another version of The Oddest at some point soon. But since we are at an hour and 10 minutes, and this will be the longest Immaterial Gamers podcast that we've done, let's get this to a close. So,
Yeah, we kind of lied about keeping things brief,
yeah,
didn't we?
in fact, what we've actually done is actually enjoyed ourselves so much more that unfortunately we've managed to have the counter effect of it being longer. But hey, if we're
All right, so next episode, we need less happiness, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
basically, if we could.
We need to be
Yeah, we
miserable.
just have a depressing podcast.
If we're miserable, it'll be short.
Yeah, preferably no one dies, but we'll just try and keep
promises.
it that way. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I never know when a meteor will
bang death.
fall on me and my children that I don't know I have.
Well, you're an adult. You'll automatically
Ah,
exit the building before the
course.
children.
Yeah, that'll be the one. Right, so like, share,
Unless you're still attending school at some
Yeah.
point.
yeah. Anyway,
What if you were a Happy Gilmore kind of deal?
no, just no.
No.
Okay, right, cool. Like, share,
All right.
subscribe, all that business. We will see you next week. So until then, have a good one, and hopefully don't die to a meteor.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Laters.
Bye.